Hello and greetings to all. The purpose of this video is to continue the thread that I commenced with the video before this one titled Huitzilopochtli, Not an Outdated Myth. Now, in the previous video, I did employ certain symbolism that has been given to us through the speech of Cuauhtémoc and through a lot of the terminology that I have mentioned in previous videos, such as being in a womb, being in a period of darkness. And I also did discuss that we shouldn't allow these 500 years of occupation, of invasion, of oppression, of genocide to define our future. The only way we can make sure that our sun returns to its full apogee once again, and the way we can ensure, as per Cuauhtémoc, the descending eagle, that the eagle once again lifts off and takes off to an era of a new era of Mexican excellence, is by awaking consciously and taking up where our ancestors left off. Now, I did mention that the tale of Huitzilopochtli does not necessarily have to refer to something that occurred in a faraway, distant past. It can be very much relevant to us today. And through this discussion, through this thread, I will develop the way that I have been analogizing our current situation as colonized people with the reemergence of the warrior people that are really inside of us through our ancestry. It is very important that we connect to our ancestry because we come from a people of struggle. A lot of cultures, particularly, of peoples of color, have a lot of ancestral veneration. To a lot of people, it might sound outrageous, superstitious, or even New Ager. But we venerate our ancestors by venerating ourselves, by honoring our ancestry, by reconnecting, by bringing forth the branches from the roots that they left very deeply instilled in us. Now, one of the first things, if we're going to be analyzing the tale of Huitzilopochtli and adapting it to a brand new context, is to consider the origins, which is Coatlicue. What came first, the chicken or the egg? The chicken did in this context, the feminine being, the feminine energy. Now, Coatlicue does represent an aspect of the earth, in the tradition of a lot of other cultures who venerate a mother goddess. However, she represents the more aquatic, the more watery aspects of earth. So she is essentially the earth, but the more aquatic aspect, in contrast with Tonantzin, which is a little more inclusive of the earth in all her majesty and all her glory. It is very important to compare the fact that Coatlicue represents the aquatic aspect of earth to the fact that Anahuac, which is the word that our ancestors employed to refer to this continent. Anahuac is the land surrounded by the four waters. Look up the etymology. It is very beautifully and explicitly stated what Anahuac means. But it is essentially that. So, given that Anahuac refers to the land surrounded by water, and that Coatlicue represents the aquatic, the water aspect of earth, it only makes sense that it is pretty much a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, in the womb of Coatlicue, in the womb of Anahuac, is being developed the warrior nation from the past. And we can compare it to a relationship, just a regular relationship between two people. Two people might come together, might copulate, the woman might become with child. They might separate, however, a part of the male aspect of the duality of copulating is still within the woman, and she will bring forth a union between the two forces, male and female. Of course, we all know how that occurs. So even though we have separated from the fatherly, the masculine aspect of our ancestors, warrior peoples, there is still a portion of that masculine energy within the womb of Coatlicue, within the womb of Anahuac. Therefore, it is our duty now, in knowing exactly how to bring forth this prophecy within ourselves, awaken consciously. It is our duty to ensure that within that womb within everything that we're doing now to decolonize, to re-indigenize, to bring forth the sixth sun, to bring forth the era that Cuauhtemoc, foretold of our sun reemerging, of the eagle taking flight again. We need to make sure that we are formulating everything within this figurative womb of Anahuac in order for our warrior to reemerge. Because pretty much once that takes place, we are no longer who we are, which is very complacent people who are pretty much like the wind taken to and fro. And I've discussed this elsewhere in my literature, how now that I have come forth with my first book, and I continue to come up with works that I shall deliver to the world in order to invite my people to decolonize. I might change the way certain people view me. I might be perceived as radical. I might be perceived even as delusional. But this is the identity that I'm reconstructing for myself. This is the conditions that I am establishing in this womb in order to birth the full-fledged warrior in the tradition of Huitzilopochtli. So this is the way I interpret the tale of Huitzilopochtli with its array of colorful characters. Please continue this thread because I really want to delve very deeply into how we can apply this tale in our modern day and not just some outdated myth from back in the day. Like, comment, and subscribe.